Good afternoon on what is a cold, clear and bright day. It is a balmy 4 degrees on what is Friday the 9th of December. I'm in the Read Nook with a hot cup of tea and a package to continue unboxing. And what I'm going to pull from here is, so just grab it here. It's seasonally appropriate Seasons of Mystery for Vaesen, published by Free League Publishing. Now, Vaesen is the Free League Publishing is a Swedish publisher. This is a Swedish horror game set during sometime during the 19th century, in which the player characters are essentially brought together to reform an investigation society that used to look into the supernatural, investigate the clash between the changing state of the country, Sweden, essentially modernisation versus the folklore and superstition, much of which, of course, has groundings in reality, is real. So, and this is an anthology of scenarios for it. So, still are the forests large and small, wrapped in the frosty white. And only the distant waterfall murmurs and hums in the night. The Nis listens and half in dream, thinks its time's ceaseless stream, wonders which way it's going, and from what source it is flowing. Victor Ryberg. Within these pages we will find 4 spine-chilling cases for Vaesen Nordic Horror Roleplaying. This book contains 4 standalone mysteries, one for each season of the year. In these pages you will find a Dance with Death, travel to the green vales of Dalarna in the springtime to investigate strange events in a remote village. Fireheart, during the summer heat wave of the century, journey to the south to the ironworks of Halrid and confront a fearsome adversary, the Devil on the Moor. On the autumnal moors of Denmark, find yourselves in a struggle between the old ways of old and the designs of modernity. A Winter's Tale. Cross the Baltic Sea and brave the wintry forests of Ingria, where an unknown being stalks the night beneath the glittering stars. So this is not a campaign. It's an anthology built themed around seasons. And what you presumably you would do with this is you would drop these into an ongoing campaign when they reach that season. So obviously, okay, that's the contents page, basic page, and preface, and the appearance of Vaesen, I have to say, is really nice and clean. The artwork is fantastic, and these books are cloth bound, and they really have a very nicely tactile feel to them. So we get onto the first scenario, a Dance with Death, and really we have a sort of indication of the threat on the first page. And this one is got notes in here very nicely. Okay, in Mythic Britain and Ireland. If you want to adapt this to the Mythic Britain and Ireland supplement, which came out earlier this year, I've only had a chance to glance through it, but basically it's nicely organised. We've got a selection of explanation of the characters in the mystery, prelude and background. Decent map of the area, nicely feels sort of like has a period feel to it. Discussions of the culture of Dalarna, and essentially the conflicts that are going on there between the old and the new, between the old ways and the modernity, the invitation, preparations, and so on to get them involved. The journey itself to get there, because there is always a sense of having to travel with this. It's rarely brushed over in the setting. You know, take a train or a carriage, or so on. And then we get into the countdown, the catastrophe. Essentially, this countdown, you may have one or more of these in a scenario for Vaesen, and that lists all of the things that will happen as the player characters get involved, and it ultimately will occur if they do nothing. And then we have a bit more closer map of the location, again really nicely done, a lovely cartography, and just continuing on. It's a nice open design, easy to read. Cool list of all and illustrations of the NPCs. And various locations. Then out to the forest before we get to the confrontation and the showdown at the end between the monstrous threat. And the discussion of the aftermath, the same there. And then we have Fireheart. Now this moves on to summer. I'm just going to check back to. I didn't see it in the first one, but it is there. I just checked. But here we do have a just off in the corner there. We've got a content warning. But this moves on to summer, and set in Western Smålandia. Again, you've got the notes on running this in Mythic Britain and Ireland. Nice versatility there, and it appeals to. I mean, that in itself it opens up the role-playing game, and it appeals to a Western audience. I mean, or an English-speaking audience, more familiar with the United Kingdom and Ireland during this period of the 19th century. I mean, one of the features of Vaesen that I really do like is exploring another country, the one that you're not familiar with in the period. And there again, same style of cartography for Harrod Parish. Sorry, cold fingers. Locations, and this is the one involving, the ironworks. And the ironworks, of course, would drive modernity, would drive the Swedish industry to greater production, and so on. As at the same time as it changed society, and here we have the NPCs, and the nice floor plans of the director's villa, an office, Dragon's Cove. Because if you're going to be stoking the Fireheart, there's no more and greater personification of fire than a dragon such as that. It's a lovely illustration just of the dragon at night. And we've got full stats for the dragon there. And the third scenario is Devil on the Mall. Again, the same sort of setup, prelude, background, and then we get into conflicts and the nature of the invitation, which gets the player characters involved. Detailed notes within these boxes. There isn't anything on here. I don't see there's nothing in this one upon running it in Mythic Britain and Ireland, but nevertheless, this one appears to be sort of like definitely Denmark set. So Jutland. Again, a chance to explore another location, interesting location that you don't normally visit in role playing, and certainly not in this period. Oh, here we are. It's placed a bit later into the scenario. Again, cartography. Various NPCs the player characters will have to deal with. And the thing is great, fantastic about the artwork is it sort of gives it very stylistic. It's very gives the investigation the feel of it, sort of like its very own feel, sort of almost almost like a gothic cartoon or that sort of thing, but interspersed to sort of like really great pieces of artwork like that. And then we have the Winter's Tale, which is the fourth and last scenario in the collection. Again, Gulf of Finland, and takes it into Finland, or basically. Let's have a look. I'm not quite sure what this is necessarily set. Let's have a look. I'll find out where we'll show you proper Britain maps. Again, you've got the notes here for Mythic at Britain and Ireland. Countdown and Catastrophe, you know, the threat that the player characters have to stave off. Tamalasu in and surrounds. I think this looks to be in Finland. In and relatively short, the scenario, not necessarily much to see, but you know, it's a solid piece. And then we've got the handouts. These are not actually printed in within the scenario itself, so you will need to flip back and forth a bit. They're pretty plain themselves. There's not much colour to them, which is a little bit disappointing, but nevertheless they're decent. You know. So there's all the handouts. So a little bit of colour there at the end of the with the tarot cards. So yeah, that's Vaesen Seasons of Mystery, an anthology of 4 scenarios for Vaesen Nordic Horror Roleplaying. If you're a Vaesen fan, you're definitely going to want to get this. And if you're interested in folkloric based role-playing game or folkloric horror role-playing game, then Vaesen is something worth looking at. You know, that expanded, you know, obviously set in Scandinavia and Sweden initially, but obviously expanded with the publication of the Mythic Ireland and Britain supplement. Anyway, so yeah, Vaesen Seasons Mystery, latest anthology for Vaesen. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.